welcome to Business Without Borders. I have been gone for about 6 months doing all kinds of new and different things. So I appreciate your patience and support. And I wanted to personally thank so many of you that asked me to do this again. What happened to Business Without Borders? Why aren't we doing it? And the answer was I am starting up a second company. So I have been working on rebranding a second company and just had a lot happening. And one of the wonderful things that I did was I went to the BNI, Business Networking International National Conference in the United States about 2 months ago, and I met a fantastic human being who was doing some great work. And I thought, if I'm going to start Business Without Borders again, he's going to be my first guest. And he graciously agreed. So before we start, I have to say, as I always do, that this is a live broadcast, that nothing on here is meant to be offensive or rude or impolite in any way, but it is a live broadcast and different cultures accept and see things in different ways. So please excuse us if anything comes off offensive. And then I'd like to get into the fun part of introducing you to this amazing human being. His name is David Palmer. So I met him. We took a lovely walk as part of the BNI Foundation fundraiser bit that we did during the conference. And we had about half hour to talk a little bit more about Speak Up for the Poor. And needless to say, it captured my heart. And I immediately said, how do I sign up? And David has just been amazing through the process. And I really would love to give him the chance to tell us a little bit about himself and how he got into Speak Up for the Poor. So David, thank you for being here and welcome.
Thank you so much, Angie. It's really a pleasure to be here, and I'm honored to have the invitation to share. So thank you so much. A little bit about myself and how I got involved with Speak Up. Honestly, it's kind of a personal story. It goes back to my childhood growing up. There was a member of my larger extended family who was frankly an abusive person and a chauvinistic person, treated women and girls very poorly. And so I kind of saw that growing up, going through my teenage years into my 20s. And I realized this person's using his power to push other people down in order to feel better about himself or for whatever reason. But what I realized growing up was, well, I want to have a different life and legacy than that. Whatever power or privilege or opportunity I have, I want to use it to lift other people up, and especially those people who are pushed down by those in power. And that's really what got me on the course for doing nonprofit work, which I've done for my entire adult life, about 28 years now.
Which is fantastic. I think that is one of the things that also captured me. We talked about how there are so many people that want to be more involved, that would love to get into a nonprofit, but it's sometimes overwhelming because there's so many options and you don't know where to start and you don't know which ones are legitimate, which ones have more administrative costs than they do helping the person you want to help. And so when I heard that David was personally doing this and he's personally involved, he goes to Bangladesh when he can. COVID slowed him down. But I know where that's going. And I know that his heart is there. And this is a person in this nonprofit that has a passion for a reason. I just thought it was an amazing, amazing thing. So first of all, Ella is here with us. I see her. She's commenting. So Ella, thank you very much for being here today and listening. And anyone else that's listening, feel free to drop something in the comments. Sometimes we can't see that you're on. So thank you all for being here if you're here, and feel free to drop some comments and questions in the box. But David, tell us a little bit more about the organization you're with now, the Speak Up for the Poor.
Yeah, so Speak Up for the Poor works internationally, mainly in the country of Bangladesh. And Bangladesh is a country that has a significant amount of poverty and also has the highest rate of child marriage for girls under age 15 of any country in the world, as well as a pretty significant trafficking problem for girls. And so in that context, Speak Up works with impoverished girls and their parents, their families, and we help defend those girls against child marriage and child trafficking. and we help them to stay in school all the way through college graduation so that their life will be put on a completely other trajectory. They can rise up out of poverty. So it's simultaneously defending girls against abuses such as child marriage and trafficking, and empowering them through education to rise out of poverty and have a better life. And that's the work that we do in CTEP.
Which is so wonderful. And you can find out more about it. I put the website on the bottom here to go there. And there's all kinds of different ways to help too. So you can, if I'm not mistaken, David, you can do lots of different ways. So tell us a little bit about the options that we have if we wanted to help.
Yeah, so all of our work is international in Bangladesh. And so sometimes with really committed people, we have volunteers who actually travel to Bangladesh and who directly hands-on help our work there. That's not something that everybody can do. Sometimes, so I'm located here in Southern California, and sometimes when we have events or we need volunteers because the girls and young women in the program in Bangladesh have written letters and they're sent to me, and I'm mailing those letters out to all of the sponsors so that they hear something personal from the girl that they're sponsoring. Sometimes I can have volunteers help me with distribution of letters and things of that sort. So there's some ways that volunteers can help, and I'd welcome you to get in touch with me if that's something you would like to do. But then the other way that people can contribute is we have a sponsorship model in our program. And so it costs about $35 each month for one girl or young woman to be in our program from grade school through college. And those who would like to contribute $35 monthly, they can help another girl come off of our waiting list, which has several hundred girls on it wanting to join our program, and bring her into our program so that her life and the direction of her life can be changed as well. So financial support is another way that people can help.
And you know, I personally sponsor someone, and it's very cool because David sends you an email personally, says this is how you write to her. You can send her pictures, and she sends you pictures. So I'm actually going to try to share some of these pictures here. Let's see, where did she go? Okay, so here we go. Hopefully that's opening. It is not. Okay, here we go. Can we see that? I'm not even sure. So hopefully we can see her here. No, we still can't. That's okay. But I'll find a way to show those pictures later. But it even has a little sign, says, thank you, Angie. And, you know, when Dave and I were kind of talking about that $35, I thought, you know what? That is me not going to Starbucks. That is me not going to Chipotle 2 times. That's what that is. So 2 times a month, I don't go to Chipotle, and I am changing a little girl's life. I mean, how astounding is that? And I think when you take that $35, when he told me, I said, yo, that can't be right. Why do you have a waiting list? Why aren't there more people doing this? And I think that's because too many people don't know. We get overwhelmed with something, which was one of the reasons I really wanted to bring him on. I know it was the first thing my mom said was like, $35. Are you kidding? I said, I am not kidding. And there was at the time, there was a waiting list of close to 400, I think. Do you still have a waiting list, David? And how many are on there?
Yeah, that's right. Our waiting list is in the 300s, you know, over 300 girls who are hoping to join our program. And so we work in 35 different villages and communities in Bangladesh. We have about 1,475 girls and young women currently in the program. More than 150 of those currently in college. So they've come up through the program and they're attending college now. So they're on course for their lives to be very different. But yes, almost 1,500 in the program and about 300 more who are hoping to join as our funding allows. So as we do get new sponsors, we're able to bring in another girl.
That's really amazing. And some of the sponsors, as we were talking before we hopped on, people's job changes. There's no obligation if something happens. You can always, if you hit a tough spot or something changes, it's not like you have to stay with them through college. I know that I plan to, but it's really a non-committal type of thing if it needs to be. And that's why sponsors come and go. Some of us can have better times in our lives than others, or businesses. So I think it's a beautiful thing the way that it is set up. And I am going to share quickly, we will go, because this I know I can do. Welcome to, oh, look, I just found a new thing I can do too. There we go. Okay, but I am going to share their website with looking so we can see a few more pictures here. These are some of the girls with their books in front of them and their core values. So I think that is so amazing to see some of the pictures of these beautiful faces. They're real people. And
yeah, you'll notice there on that homepage, there's a video that says Child Education Bangladesh. If you'd like to watch that, it's about a 6-minute video that summarizes our work. Angie's showing that on the screen right now. Okay. And GEP, with the picture up above, stands for Girls Education Program. So that's the name of our program in Bangladesh, and GEP is the acronym.
That is amazing. And it says here more than 1,700 girls have been served by your work. That's amazing. So you've had that many people go through this program?
That's right. And so currently there's almost 1,500 in the program, but we've had a couple hundred more just over the 11 years that the program has been in existence who come and are no longer in the program. We have 14 young women who've graduated from nursing school through our program. So they came all the way through nursing school. They're working as nurses now. We have a dozen plus young women who are working as teachers. And it's wonderful because these young women who've come up through our program, they come back to their villages and they inspire the younger girls in the program. They say 8, 9 years ago, I was sitting right where you're sitting. And now I'm a nurse. Now I'm a teacher, and you can do it too. So they become inspiring examples to the younger girls in our program and to their parents that this program actually works and what girls and young women can be and can become when they stay in school and are not given in child marriage. So as they do that, it's kind of changing the culture in Bangladesh, elevating the status of girls and women as more and more people see examples of what educated young women can do.
Wow. And then also, I know I usually do this in the beginning and I failed. As David can probably attest to, most Americans have absolutely terrible geography. So I really wanted to show everyone where Bangladesh actually is as well. So you see China here, we see India here, and Bangladesh is right between Burma, Myanmar, and India there. So that's where Bangladesh is. And very, very difficult culture for women. So I think what you're doing is really we're in a good place to be doing it, obviously. Okay, we did have, while we were talking, our guest, Ella, who's here with us today. She also is in the nonprofit world, even said, oh my gosh, it was meant for me to be here. I'm in the same type of area. So here is another nonprofit for people to check out. Ella, thanks for being here today. And I'll check that out myself. So that's really cool. And her question to you was, do you have a program in Atlanta, Georgia? So I think Dave answered that by explaining more how it works, but just to clarify that, the program all happens inside Bangladesh, and then everyone from anywhere can volunteer or donate, correct?
That's correct, yes. No, we do not have a program in Atlanta, unfortunately. All of our work is in the country of Bangladesh. So we have supporters and volunteers here in the U.S. who help support our work there, but we don't work within the United States. That's right.
Okay.
It's wonderful to meet you, Ella, and I would love to connect and compare notes about our different nonprofits as well.
Yeah, it's fun how different people get drawn together through things like this. I did want to talk a little bit more too about the individual sponsorship. So that's what I do right now. And it was also interesting for me that when I was talking to Dave, he said, well, now when COVID's over, or as we can with COVID, you can actually organize trips to go to Bangladesh. So as a sponsor, if I wanted to, you eventually can plan trips. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're actually planning a trip for a little over a year from now, summer of 2023. There are a number of donors and friends of Speak Up and sponsors who would like to go and see our work firsthand, meet the girl or young women that they're sponsoring in person. So we are planning a trip at present to visit Bangladesh, and that's correct. We on many occasions, numerous occasions, we've had donors and sponsors travel to Bangladesh and see our work firsthand. And sometimes if they have a particular skill or training that is useful to the girls and young women in our program, when they arrive in Bangladesh, they can actually interact, provide that training or that teaching to some of the girls and young women in our program. So we've had that too.
Oh, that's especially exciting for me, right? Because I teach English as a second language. So I would love to be able to, and culture. So I would love to be able to talk to the girls and actually maybe be able to help via video and other things as well. There's so many different ways to do things. So I don't know.
English as a second language is very useful because all of the young women and girls in our program, Bengali or Bangla is their first language, but they're all learning English as a second language. So that's a wonderful skill to pass on, Angie.
Yeah, I would love to be more involved. And it just feels so good to be involved in something that I know is, for lack of a better word, real. It's very authentic. I know the people in it. I know where it's going. I know how it's structured, and I can be a part of it. I'm not just writing a check to something, which is great too, right? I'm sure they love the check. But it's such a fantastic feeling to feel like you're really involved. So I would absolutely highly encourage anybody who's interested in getting involved in a nonprofit and saving the life of a young girl, because that's really what we're doing here, is helping these girls see a world that they may have thought they never had a chance to be a part of. So I'm just find you to be an amazing person, and what you're doing is just really, really incredible. And I know David himself has two girls, right? Do you have two girls?
I have two daughters. That's right. Teenagers.
Yeah,
that's correct.
They must be incredibly proud of their father, and you have a very, very lucky wife.
Thank you so much. Yeah, my daughters and my wife are also very supportive of this work. I love to be a part of it, and just, as a father of girls myself, advocating for girls and helping girls and young women to be empowered and to experience greater equality and have a better life is my heart. So I'm really glad to be able to do this.
Oh, fantastic. So before we wrap up, is there anything that I didn't ask or that you can think that we should add?
Just to emphasize that if people would like to sponsor, it is possible to build a personal connection to the girl in Bangladesh that you're sponsoring. So you can write letters back and forth. You can send pictures. You receive pictures of her. You know her name and what grade she is in school, what her dream for the future is, what she's hoping to become through her education. So it is possible to build that personal connection, and that it does make a tremendous difference. Every new sponsor that we get, as I mentioned, it allows another girl in Bangladesh to come off of our waiting list, join our program, and experience the benefits of the program. We provide tutoring and mentoring and training and all kinds of, not just education, but other life skills, because we'd like to equip these girls and young women to be able to thrive in school and also in life. And as I said, they can go all the way through college through our program and put their life on a completely different course. It's going to change their life, their family's life, children's life in the future. So we're very grateful to everybody who partners with us and helps us to make a difference in the lives of these girls and young women in Bangladesh. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. And, it is so for privacy purposes, we can't share a picture and say the name of our person, but you do know the name. I know the name of our little girl, and I talk about her all the time. Almost anyone I mean, I'm like, guess what I'm doing? She sent a picture, she whatever. And my son is 22 now. And I was telling him about it. He goes, this is so cool. I feel like I have another like stepsister. But it's just so interesting too. I will soon have a stepdaughter who's 11, and she's just loving it too because they're about the same age, and it's so wonderful for her because there's with being a part of this is something I can't teach her. It's something no one can teach her. It's something that she'll learn by seeing it and being a part of it, of how fortunate she is to be in the world that she is, how to take advantage of the opportunities that she has that many other people around the world never will. So I think it's a wonderful experience for children in the United States as well to sponsor this child and build this relationship with them and see the pictures. And we're just really excited to see what happens with her journey, where she ends up. I know my little person would like to become a police person. She wants to be in the police force. And I just think that's so exciting. So I would second that with the real relationship. It's a very personal thing that you get to build, and really, really excited about it. So, and think about that. Like there's 300 some, there's got to be 300 some people that all of us know that are willing to give up Chipotle for the month or Starbucks and start sponsoring these kids and make that list go down to nothing. I think we can all get together and really change the world. So David, thank you a million times over for being here. And for anyone watching this as a replay or live, whichever, I will put this link for Speak Up Support in the events that we had, and I'm sure it won't be the last time that I post about this. And David and I would both be open for questions. Obviously, Dave knows a whole lot more than me, but if you're interested in the experience and why I chose it, I'm happy to tell you more about that too. So, all right. Well, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you, Dave, for being here.
Thank you so much, Angie. It's really a pleasure. And to everybody listening, thank you so much for your interest and your care for the girls and young women in Bangladesh in our program.
So once again, thanks. And thank you everyone for tuning in to us. Ella, yes, it is recorded. And I will be posting it on my LinkedIn as a recording too. And then we had one last late guest that popped in and said hello. I won't even try to mess your name up, but thank you, Usman, maybe, for being here. And thanks everyone else who is watching now or on the replay. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, whatever you have left. And I look forward to seeing you on the next Business Without Borders.